Do you remember this from Jurassic Park? And did you know you can easily recreate that scene with one of these? Oh yes, the Boombox is back, baby.
I'm back, baby!
And nowadays, they're in the form of this kind of thing, portable, weatherproof Bluetooth speakers with enough wattage, power, and battery to host all-day outdoor parties, or even scare off a T-Rex if you wanted to. And it's down to who can execute the idea better than the other. So today, we have two lower mid-rangers. On my left is the Soundcore Motion Boom Plus, and on my right is the TRIBIT STORMBOX Blast. I'm gonna compare these two in these 6 categories and then talk about my likes and dislikes, and then we'll choose a winner at the end. So are you ready to do this battle of modern boomboxes? Let's do it! Let's quickly run through the specs on both of these. The TRIBIT retails for $200. The Soundcore is $180. Both of these offer Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity with X-Bass on the TRIBIT and bass up tech for the Soundcore. Water dust resistance, it's IP67 on the Soundcore, and on the TRIBIT it's IPX7. And in terms of battery life, straight from the factory, they say the Soundcore is good for 20 hours with a 13,400 milliamp hour battery. The TRIBIT is a little bit larger at 18,650 milliamp hours, good for 30 hours. The TRIBIT also comes with higher wattages for its drivers. If you can see here in the green, there's 2 30-watt woofers and 2 in the corner here, 2 15-watt tweeters. The Soundcore is 80 watts, 2 30-watt woofers in the center here, and 2 10-watt tweeters here in the corner. The weight for these, both of them are very different as well. 5.5 kg for the TRIBIT and 2.4 kg for the Soundcore. And as you can see, they're all together 32 LEDs on the TRIBIT, while the Soundcore has none. What you see here on both of these units are called side baffles, and they're pretty common nowadays with portable Bluetooth speakers. The Soundcore is on the left, by the way. And what they do is basically vibrate based on the amount of air in the entire chamber to create like reverb or bass or something like that. It really adds to the whole audio experience, kind of like an amplifier almost. And on these two units, you can see the lips are very generous, so they protect from falls or anything like that. And also you can pretty much rest them on the side to use them. Now, speaking of resting, on the bottom of the Soundcore, let me try to not topple this over. You can see that the legs, because this is small and narrow, all you need is like one long rubber feet on both sides. And on the TRIBIT, you can see it differs because it's so much wider. It needs 4 rubber feet. I really like the ones on the TRIBIT. They add a lot of grip as well because of the threads. Now, over in the back of the unit, you can see the design philosophy is a little bit different. The approach, the TRIBIT looks a little bit more expensive with this metal grille that mirrors the front as well. So I like that just for looks, but it is harder to clean. You can see right here, this white spot, that's dried mud. So you probably have to brush it off. With the Soundcore, just wipe it off and you're pretty much done. Now the flaps, make sure you have them tight when you're close to water or something like that, but they do allow for some mistakes. You can see they have triple lips here and there for both of them. So if you have them slightly loose, it's not the end of the world, but make sure it's tight. One thing I like about Soundcores is it rotates out of the way while the TRIBIT just does it one axis. Now, over on the connector side, we have an auxiliary port, an output for charging right here, USB-C. It's not input, by the way. And then we have the AC input adapter. The Soundcore side, we have an input USB-C and also a charging USB-A and a 3.5 auxiliary. The handle is rounded on the TRIBIT and squared off on the Soundcore. It's really your personal preference. The control scheme on both of these are similar. So with the Soundcore right here is the pause play button. It's flanked by 2 volume buttons. The power button is right there. Party cast button is right here. And the Bluetooth pairing button as well as the bass on off button is right there. For the TRIBIT, same thing. Here's the pause play button. They're much larger as you can tell, which is nice. Volume up, volume down, Bluetooth pairing, power up, power on, power off. And this is the light to change the lighting. Let me try to show you this better. So right now there is some media playing. I can turn it off and also change these to steady lighting and also just to like, you know, psychedelic, drive you crazy kind of lighting. And here's the X-Bass button. The Stormbox Blast, once connected to the TRIBIT app, is super easy to customize. For example, the leftmost tab brings you all the primary speaker controls, such as pause, play, forward, backward, volume controls right here, and also the current lighting mode where you can toggle it on and off right here, or switch between mode 1, which is basically like ripple or some kind of rainbow effect, or mode 2, which is a steady color form, and the battery level is right here. The Soundcore app for the Motion Boom Plus, just as simple as well, with the EQ and most of the controls on the main screen, as you can see. Soundcore, let me show you this, has fewer presets. There's 4 altogether right here at the bottom, whereas the TRIBIT has 6. Now, on the flip side though, the TRIBIT in its customized EQ form, there's 6 bands altogether, as opposed to 9 bands on the Soundcore, which is quite a difference. Now, let me back out on both of these right here and show you settings real quick. And you can see that both of these speakers also allow you to turn on auto power off, which is great to have to prevent battery rundown. You know what? There's no better way to talk about the sound quality of these things than to listen for yourselves. 20 feet. It's 40. All right, let's bump it up to 100%. "20 feet. 40. Let's go further. Around 60 now. You can still hear it clearly, isn't it? It covers it pretty good. Okay, we're at 50% volume. We're at about 20 feet. You can see the LEDs from here. 40. All right, let's crank this up to 100% volume. Check out the baffles here. "20 feet. 40. Let's go back to 60. Hold on. We're at 60. Now that you've heard both, which is your favorite? Comment down below. And I know this whole test is not like scientific or lab approved or anything, but to my ears, over the past few weeks of nearly blowing my ears out and rocking the very foundations of my house to its core, I can tell you that choosing one over the other really depends on what your preferred music genre is. And also, as you saw in the samples a second ago, what volume and distance you're listening at. Rock and techno, for example, TRIBIT is the one to grab. Acoustic, jazz, vocals, Soundcore, hands down. The Stormbox has bigger lower frequency thump and is better at carrying bass reverb with authority. At 85 to 100% volume, the extra wattage seems to win out, staying relatively composed and audible from long distances. If you want mid to high frequency fidelity at lower volumes, the Motion Boom Plus is your man. At close range, the Soundcore also seems to spread its sound over a wider area, while the TRIBIT, well, you basically have to sit pretty much dead center to really truly enjoy it. Now, both of these, that being said, in isolation are fantastic, so pick your poison, my friends. The Soundcore is half the weight of the monster TRIBIT. This thing is so heavy. So the Motion Boom Plus scores the first outright win here. The Soundcore also has a carry strap. The TRIBIT should have one, but it doesn't. On water, the Soundcore floats, while the TRIBIT could very well sink a ship. Both of these are made with lots of plastic, I'll admit, but can take a lot of beating before giving up the ghost. In terms of water dust resistance, Soundcore has the edge on paper due to its IP67 dust rating. The TRIBIT settles with an IPX7 rating, but I think it can still handle some levels of dust and dirt. Just don't go nuts with it. Both offer a bass boost mode of some kind, and with a Soundcore you definitely want to leave it on, otherwise music just won't sound as full. On a TRIBIT, I prefer to turn it off at close range, otherwise just go for it, keep the X bass booming. And for better or for worse, the TRIBIT is the only one, as you can see right here between the two, that offers LED dance lights. Yes, they're very much in your face if you want, or you can thankfully tone it down with the fascia button or in the app, or turn it off altogether, thank goodness. Another big feature that most owners probably won't ever leverage, especially if you can only afford one of these speakers at a time, is stereo mode. The TRIBIT allows 2 of its speakers to create left-right channels if you can, and with the Soundcore, you can pair more than 100 Soundcore speakers that support the PartyCast 2.0 protocol into one like giant massive group. Imagine that, $18,000 worth of speakers all band together. Yeah, who or why? But apparently you can. This one lasted me about 23 hours at max volume. The Motion Boom managed almost 17 hours at max. So in other words, either one of these can play through the night straight without too much battery anxiety, if any. And of course, these numbers will drop once you treat these like power banks when you plug in devices into the back of them to charge. And also, speaking of charging, the larger TRIBIT requires an AC outlet, something to be mindful of here, so that's another thing to tote around. The Soundcore suckles power via a more convenient USB-C cable. The only thing to be mindful of here is to make sure you use a high wattage charger, otherwise you'll be waiting quite a bit longer to top this up than the TRIBIT. If you walk around in this life operating on the "I should get what I pay for" mantra a lot, then getting more wattage, more bulk, more plastic on the TRIBIT for a mere, $20 more than the Soundcore is really a no-brainer. So for that fact alone, the TRIBIT wins this final category. I'm gonna be straight with you, just like I always am, but both of these, whichever you end up with, are awesome, guys. How they got so much good sound out of under 100 watts worth of speakers seems crazy to me. It's all about design and the chambers and everything and tuning. Personally, my pick is the Soundcore for just how it balances portability with sound, but based on the merits of the 6 categories we looked at today, especially sound quality, the TRIBIT takes the cake. It's close to something like the JBL Boombox 2, but at a much better price. So with all that said, the Soundcore Motion Boom Plus gets a GearUP score of 8.3 out of 10, and the TRIBIT Stormbox Blast, it gets 8.3 also. But if you ignore the rounding of the decimals, the TRIBIT barely squeaks by with the win this time at 8.33 versus 8.25. Well, that's it for this comparison video. And by the way, Soundcore and TRIBIT did send me these speakers for free, but in no way did they influence my final say or the words I have in between, because this is what this channel is all about, keeping it real for you guys as the consumer. And if you like to see more videos like this, you know what to do. Mash and kill the button down below, subscribe, share with your friends and family, get me to 50,000 subs. Also remember to visit me on Patreon or the super thanks button down below if you like to drop a tip, buy me a cup of coffee or tea or something like that. And also remember to thumbs up if you like this video, comment nicely down below, and thumbs down. Thumbs down, I haven't done this in a while, so this is short. Thumbs down to people who watch unboxing videos and then in the comments they decide to say, "Hey, great review." Since when is an unboxing a review? I didn't know that. Maybe I have to rethink what I do. But anyways, yeah. Remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, guys, because guess what? If you haven't seen the news lately, the world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you, believe it or not. I love y'all very much. Peace out and God bless.